Hi everyone, welcome to self-mock interview with AI on the system design interview. In this series, we will try to do mock system design interview with AI. For example, I will use GPT as support, and you can get the prompt of LLM and the description of the video. You can copy that to paste to your personal setting. For example, it's personalization setting and or others, for example, Google Gemini or Cloud, you can pass to any AI you are using. And also, you can find the playlist of other senior design interviews topics at the my playlist at my account. Also, you can join our Discord group. Here is about mock system design interview partner. You can find your partner here to do for your find partner to do mock system design interview for each other. Yeah. Okay, let's start today our topic. Our today topic maybe will be Pastebin. Okay, we are going to design this. Can you help me describe this product details? For example, the major feature of this product.
Sure, let's think this through. The major features of a product like Pastebin would include a simple interface for users to paste and save text or code, the ability to set visibility levels like public, unlisted, or private, syntax highlighting for various programming languages to improve readability, an expiration feature to automatically delete content after a specified time. Do you already have a specific audience or use case in mind?
I'm not sure. I think this is like the GitHub gists, but because GitHub gists has their TA, so I think our product should have something different TA setting. Target audience profile different from GitHub gist. I think you need to help me this.
Got it. If you want to differentiate from GitHub Gist, you'll need to define a unique target audience, TA, and align features to their needs. For example, GitHub Gist leans heavily into developers, but your product could target educators, technical writers, or even general users sharing non-code snippets. You might want to focus on features like ease of use, collaboration tools for non-coders, or integrations with non-developer platforms. Who do you think would find this tool most valuable outside of a developer-centric world?
Okay, because current people are usually using mobile. How is that based on the mobile first to make such as people want to share information? Because such as line will line message will disappear after month. Or Facebook or Slack. For Slack, if you are not a premium user, the old history will lose. So how about we focus on the scenario case that usually people on mobile and they will type a simple case and even they will just like take a note to share to others.
That makes a lot of sense. If you're targeting mobile-first users, focusing on simplicity and speed is crucial. For this audience, the product could emphasize quick note sharing, a super light interface that lets users type or paste content quickly and share a link immediately. Persistent history. Unlike Line or Slack, users could access their shared content indefinitely or control the expiration manually. Rich sharing options. Seamless sharing via QR codes, SMS, or popular messaging apps. Offline mode. Users could draft notes offline, and it syncs automatically when back online. What do you think about prioritizing these kinds of use cases for fast, frictionless sharing?
Okay, because we are focusing on simple sharing, I think the task will relative easy. We can just focus on the feature. It's about paste something and generate a URL. So this is like a short URL service, but the compressed content is a plain text.
That streamlined approach makes it very user-friendly. You're essentially creating a lightweight tool where users paste plain text and it generates a shareable link instantly. To enhance the appeal, you could enable a preview option so users can see the content before opening the link. Consider adding password protection or one-time viewing for secure sharing. Focus on fast performance, even on slower mobile networks, since simplicity is key. Would you also want to explore options for theming or branding for shared links, or is that beyond the initial scope?
Okay, wait, do you mean that, for example, I post this in such as Slack or Facebook or Line, it can show a simple preview, right?
Yes, many platforms like Slack, Facebook, or Line automatically fetch metadata from shared links to display a preview. Your service could include a title or headline summarizing the content, a snippet or the first few lines of the text, a small icon or default image to represent the service. This makes the link more appealing and provides context for the recipient. Does that align with what you're envisioning?
Okay, I think that's a good features we are going to focus on. And because we are for easy users on mobile, so how much the users, for example, they DAU, you think that will possible be, or you can just give me MAU, I will apply with some ratio.
It depends on your target audience and marketing strategy, but let's assume you're focusing on mobile first, lightweight sharing for casual users. A reasonable monthly active users MAU target for an early stage product could be in the range of 10,000 to 50,000 within the first 6 months, scaling up based on growth efforts. If you're targeting broad audiences like students, freelancers, or casual collaborators, virality through shared links could drive growth quickly. What's your marketing plan? Organic growth, ads, partnerships. That will influence your numbers.
Okay, how about that we assume that it will scaling up to such as 100 times, for example, it will be, for example, maybe mature will have 1 million users if mature.
Sorry, I'm having issues right now. Could not understand what you said.
Okay, sounds that there's a problem again. Okay, we do this again because I have some problem. How about that 1 million users, we assume that scaling up to the when our product is mature marketing.
Hitting 1 million users is definitely achievable with the right strategy, especially for a simple viral product. To get there, you need to focus on virality. Each user sharing links brings in more users naturally. Retention. Ensure users keep coming back by offering convenience and reliability. Marketing. Leverage social media ads, influencer endorsements, or partnerships with messaging apps. Localization. Adapting the product for different regions and languages to tap into global audiences. Do you have a timeline in mind for reaching that 1 million mark? That would help
Okay,
refine the scaling approach.
I think we currently this information is enough. I think next we can focus on QPS, for example, because we have some MAU and I will multiply a ratio to get the DAU. And how about that? I assume that every user will maybe use 5 or even fewer to 1 day because mostly they are using the message app. They will not usually use this note system. So I will do some calculation of the QPS.
That sounds like a solid approach. Estimating QPS, queries per second, based on user behavior is critical for planning your infrastructure. If you take your projected DAU and assume each user makes 5 requests a day, you can break it down. Divide the total requests evenly across seconds in a day to get an average QPS. Account for peak times, since usage will likely spike during certain hours. For instance, if you project 100,000 DAU, 5 actions per user, that's 500,000 requests per day. Spread across 86,400 seconds. That's about 6 QPS on average.
Wait, do you remember you are the interviewer, like doing system design interview to me, so you will not talk too much.
Understood. Keep going.
So we are going to calculation this DAU will be 20% ratio. I think this assumption. And 5 posts per day, and we need to calculation that there will be uh this ply will be 100, so calculation will divide by, so it will not be large. It's relatively, the QPS is relatively low, but it's we need to calculation about the content. Okay, we need to clarify that. How about that? Okay, how long do you think a user can keep this content? For example, they can keep this for 1 year, or fewer months or longer months about this product. And we also need to assume that the upper bound of each file. For example, how about that 1,000 character to be one post upper bound?
It makes sense to limit retention and size for simplicity and scalability. 1 year retention feels generous for most casual users, but 3 to 6 months might align better with the quick sharing use case. As for size, 1,000 characters is reasonable, enough for short notes, but not overwhelming to manage. Keep going.
So the size will be that because we have a MAU, so the volume required. They will have we got MAU will have 1 million plus 3 months, 6 months, and plus 5, and for each character. So it will how about that because each character will be one by just 1K. So this will be okay. So we can just put. Do you think this number fair? Do you think this number fair? Okay. So the relatively fair that because the design is relatively easy. So how about we design about some users will have post and get, right? So do you have anything you want to discussion before we go into system design, or we can just starting our simple abstract system, and we will do scalability and fault tolerance in the future?
It's a good idea to start with a simple abstract system to establish core functionality. This allows you to focus on getting the key features right, like note sharing and URL generation.
Okay, because this is relatively simple, so we will skip about API design. Okay, so this is a relatively simple case. I think we can skip API design, right?
Yes, for a simple case like this, we can skip the detailed API design for now. Let's focus on the high-level system architecture and core components. Once we have that, we can dive into API design if needed as we iterate. How would you like to structure the system, starting from the basic flow?
Okay, yeah. Okay, so we will do a simple case that for user, and because they will have because they are possible can to be public or private. If they are not logging, they will just have the public load balancer. This will be relative easy. And if logging, not logging, logging and not logging, yeah, they can do logging, not logging, not logging, or they will do logging. So if they are logging, they will have also a rare limit, of course. Okay, they will have some backend machine here. Yeah, so I think we could assume some the rewrite ratio. So also we will assume that such as a rewrite ratio. Okay, I think we need to assume some rewrite ratio because this is for sharing the node for in the social media. So I think the read ratio to write may be approximately 200 to 1. Do you think this is a fair ratio?
Yes, a 201 read to write ratio seems reasonable, especially for a sharing platform. Users will likely view shared notes far more often than they create new ones. This ratio would also influence how you prioritize scaling and optimization, focusing more on read heavy operations. How would you approach optimizing for this read heavy load?
Okay, I have another things to discussion with you. That because the node, it's possible to set public and private. So I think if a user, they can be log in or not log in. If they log in, we need to, of course, we need to some authentication solutions, and he or she need to maybe we need to store account for that people who log in. And if people not logging, we will store in the public storage database. How do you think? That is, we have two set of DB. One is public, another is logging. What? There's some problem again. Okay, I have another feature to discussion with you, because their post it's possible to be public or private. So I think that if people not logging, the node is always public. But if they want to make the node to be private, they need to be logging. For example, using Google account or anything account, for example, Facebook account, to log in to get their authentication. Do you think this is fair? Do you mean that? I mean, maybe we will store two DB. One is for public DB, and another one is for logging user DB.
Yes, that approach sounds fair and can work well. By splitting the public and private content into separate databases, you can keep things simple for both security and performance. Public posts can be more lightweight, easily cached, and served quickly, while private posts will be protected and require user authentication. Using OAuth for login Google Facebook is a common, user-friendly solution. You can later add more complex features like post encryption or advanced privacy settings once you have a user base. Do you see any potential challenges with managing two separate databases?
Okay, I have another question is about that. What's the data structure we are using for DB? For example, it's SQL or NoSQL. I think because the structure is relative easy because, for example, for the public case, they only have the URL and also the target. So we will store the target content in a blob storage. Also, for the login user, they will have their account, and there will be maybe two tables. One table is that there's a login user, they have a user list, and for each user, they will have their another table. It's about what content he store. So and also the storage content will point to the blob storage, right?
Your approach seems practical and scalable. For this type of system, a mix of SQL and NoSQL could be beneficial, depending on how you structure the data. Here's how I would suggest thinking about it. Public content. NoSQL, like key value stores or document databases, could be great here since you're dealing with simple URL lookups and content retrieval. Storing the content as blobs in a cloud storage service, like AWS S3 or Google Cloud Storage, and linking them through a database could help optimize both storage and access. Private content. SQL would make sense here for managing user accounts and relationships. You can use relational tables for user authentication and then another table for content references, linking each content item to a specific user account. The actual content can still be stored in a blob storage with references to it in your SQL database. This hybrid approach gives you flexibility with SQL for user management and NoSQL for fast, scalable content retrieval. Does that structure seem to match what you're aiming for?
Okay, I think it's relatively easy. Uh, so the table will be SQL. problem is that okay, now we have draw a design graph that user is there. It's two possible. One is logging, another is not logging. And if logging, they need auth rate limit to through the load balancer. And for the backend part, if they are write to the content, if the not logging part, they will just write to the NoSQL structure, and store the content will store in the blob storage. And if possible, if the content is usually fetched from user, they will move to the read-only cache for better performance. And also, if a user is logging that, they can set the public and private of the plain text, and then they will store to related DB such as SQL. And the content structure will be user ID of one table, and pointer the item will point to for user they have how much items, and also they will have the setting is this the public or private, and also the real plain text content will store at another blob storage. And also the same, if that it's usually hard to request, we will put that into a cache.
Your design is shaping up well and seems practical. Here's a summary of the key elements. 1. User authentication. You've rightly added an authentication layer with rate limiting for logged in users. This helps prevent abuse while maintaining a smooth user experience. 2. Public content. For public posts, using a NoSQL structure with blob storage for the content is efficient. Caching frequently accessed public content improves performance and scalability. Private content. Logged in users have a more structured flow. Their content gets stored in a SQL database with an association to their user ID, plus settings for public or private. The actual content remains in blob storage. Caching for frequently requested private content is a smart optimization. 4. Cache layer. Caching both public and private content based on access patterns is a good way to reduce load on your backend and improve response times. This hybrid system seems efficient for handling scalability and maintaining good performance with both public and private content. You're also planning well for optimization with the cache. Do you see any potential bottlenecks in this architecture as it scales, particularly with the cache layer or rate limiting?
Okay, first I need to ask it's about that is this structure enough that we can discussion next topic, or we need to discussion about this structure more.
Keep going.
Okay, so you mean that this structure is enough, right?
Yes, this structure seems solid for now. You've covered key components like authentication, public-private content handling, and caching. We can move on to the next topic if you're ready.
Okay, so in the next topic, it's about you are talking about it's a bottleneck. I think there are possible bottleneck. Maybe if there are many users, they will try to fetch this system. So the first bottleneck, it's possible about the load balancer. So maybe we need to make a multi-load balancer to monitoring each self to make a better performance, or there are other possible solutions. And for the right part, because we already draw the many machines, for example, they will have a load balancer to distribute different machines to make the writing separate to different machines. And for the SQL part, maybe because there will be possible will have different countries or different people. There are possible solution. For example, there will be geo separate or geo replication to make different storage had a different separate. Or for the SQL part, it's possible to use sharding to make that access well on different location. And also for the reading part, because many people read, this is a highly read ratio. For example, we assume that it's 200 to 1 ratio. So the solution it's possible will be read-only cache. But of course, if we are using this, the price will be our cost will be higher for the user trying to fetch this. But it's luckily that our assumption of volume requirement it's relatively small. So I think the cost will be the constrainable.
You've outlined some great strategies to address potential bottlenecks. Here's a quick recap and some additional thoughts. 1. Load balancer. Implementing multiple load balancers can certainly help with distributing traffic. Auto scaling for load balancing and monitoring performance in real time can also be key to ensuring reliability under heavy loads. Consider using a cloud provider's managed load balancing service to simplify scaling. 2. Write scaling. Distributing writes across multiple machines is smart. For a distributed system, using techniques like write splitting or eventual consistency can help handle spikes. It's essential to ensure that your data consistency requirements are well defined when scaling writes. 3. SQL scalability. Geo-replication or geo-separation of databases is a good approach, especially if your users are distributed globally. This can reduce latency and improve availability. Sharding will also help with the scalability of your SQL database by partitioning data across multiple servers. Careful sharding key selection will be important to ensure even distribution of data. 4. Read optimization. With a 201 read-to-write ratio, caching is absolutely necessary. Using a read-only cache is a good solution, as it minimizes pressure on your back-end databases. Cloud caching services like Redis or Memcached can help reduce the cost by offloading traffic from your main storage system. However, as you mentioned, there will be additional costs, but with relatively small volume requirements, that should be manageable. Overall, it seems like you've got a solid approach to both handle scaling and manage costs. Have you considered any failover or disaster recovery strategies as part of the design?
Okay, I want to discuss more about this part also, because we have two types of users. One is that not logging users, and another is the logging users. If you want to promote our product, I think we should to promote. We want people to try to log in more, so we can maybe have more data about logging information. For example, users. So of course, we need to give the GDPR agreement to the user. But I mean that because we want to people to encourage you to use their login system, I think for the storage, maybe we will store 6 months for non-login users, and if users will log in, we will provide 1 month for longer. The information will live longer. Do you think this is a better user experience arrangement for our marketing strategy?
Your approach to encouraging users to log in by offering longer retention for logged in users makes sense from both a user experience and marketing perspective. Here's why it could work well. 1. Incentive to log in. By offering longer retention for logged in users, you're giving them a tangible benefit, which can increase conversions from anonymous to authenticated users. This could lead to more personalized experiences and more control over content, which improves engagement. GDPR considerations. As you mentioned, compliance with GDPR is important, and making sure users are aware of how their data is stored is crucial. Transparency around retention policies, like 6 months for non-logged in users and a longer duration for logged in users, helps build trust. 3. Marketing strategy. Offering more features or longer retention for logged in users can be a subtle but effective way to increase your user base. You could also market this benefit in app to remind users of the advantages of logging in. 4. User experience. The 6-month retention for non logged in users gives them a reasonable amount of time to test the product without requiring them to commit. After that, the longer retention for logged in users feels like a reward for registering, and it creates an incentive to stay logged in to retain access to their content. If you want to incentivize users even further, you could also add other benefits for logged in users, such as content organization, sharing options, or advanced privacy controls. How do you feel about layering in some additional value for logged in users beyond just the retention period?
Okay, as soon as that we discussion about that, we want to keep logging users content more. So maybe for the database, the SQL side that we will want people have login. They will have such as replication and failover solutions to make they have a better feeling when they have login. I will recommend that maybe we need to more put such as replication, and also we will have a replication of the blob storage of our storage. For example, we can use cloud service, but they will be more expensive. And for non-login users, maybe we can handle by ourselves. And also, they are not so duplication for the non-login users. So the product, the information may lose after time. So maybe we will have a higher cost on the login users, both on DB SQL and blob storage. How about do you think this?
You're on the right track with your approach to providing a more reliable experience for logged in users, especially with the added costs of replication and failover strategies. Here's a breakdown of the key points. 1. Replication and failover for SQL. For logged in users, implementing database replication and failover is a solid idea. It ensures high availability and resilience, improving user trust and retention. This makes sense if you want a more consistent and reliable experience for users who are likely to keep coming back and depend on their data being available. 2. Blob storage replication. Using cloud services for blob storage replication is a good choice for ensuring high availability and durability. Cloud providers like AWS or Google Cloud already have built-in redundancy, but it does come at a higher cost. Since logged-in users will have more data stored, ensuring that content is reliably accessible and backed up is key to offering a smooth user experience. 3. Non-logged-in users. Since non-logged-in users have less frequent usage and shorter content retention, handling them with a simpler, cost-effective approach makes sense. They don't require the same level of redundancy, so you can use more basic storage solutions for them, with the understanding that their content may eventually be deleted. This helps you balance cost and performance. 4 cost considerations. The higher cost for logged-in users, both on the DB and blob storage, is a trade-off for providing them with a better experience and greater reliability. You'll need to account for this in your pricing model, if applicable, or build it in the overall infrastructure budget. It's important to optimize costs where possible without compromising user experience, especially for non-logged in users who don't demand the same level of reliability. How do you plan to handle these cost differences in terms of scaling or potentially charging users in the future if you plan to monetize?
Okay, now we have agreement that we are focusing on uh, login users. So in the early discussion about that, we have cache for the login user and non-login user. How about that? We can also only use cache for login users, and this can reduce more cost for the non-login users, and also for the paid users, they can have the faster storage fast. So we encourage people to log in. Also, we only
That's a
provide
great
cache.
idea. By focusing the cache strategy primarily on logged in users, you can optimize cost while still maintaining a good user experience. Here's how this could work. 1. Cache for logged in users. Since logged in users are your focus, caching their content will improve access times and reduce load on your primary storage systems. They benefit from faster response times without significantly increasing costs, especially since their usage is more predictable. 2. No cache for non-logged in users. For non-logged in users who are likely to have more transient needs and shorter retention periods, you can skip caching. Their content can be stored directly in your main storage without the overhead of caching. This reduces operational costs for non-logged in users who don't require the same performance guarantees. 3. Paid users with faster storage. For paid users, you could provide enhanced performance by offering faster storage or caching tiers. This could include features like dedicated storage or faster access times for their data, priority cache access, or better caching policies to ensure quicker access to frequently used content. This tiered approach allows you to balance between cost and performance, and you could build in these extra features for paying users as a value proposition. It also keeps costs manageable for the non-logged in users while still delivering the high performance experience to your core audience. How do you feel about offering paid users more direct control over storage and access options in this model?
Okay, I think our major design are finished, right? Because this is a relative simple case. We focus on mobile first, so we will not put complex feature on this system. So if you think our major part is finished, you can tell me that our system design interview is finished.
Yes, I believe we've covered the major aspects of the design. You've established a clear strategy around mobile-first design, login, non-login user differentiation, scalability, and cost management. This gives us a solid foundation to move forward. Your system is well structured with appropriate trade-offs between performance, cost, and user experience. I think we're done with the data design portion of the interview. Would you like to move on to another topic, or is there anything else you'd like to refine here?
What other topics you want to discussion?
Since we've covered the data design well, we could explore a few other areas that might be relevant for senior level roles. 1. System resilience and fault tolerance. How would your high availability and disaster recovery for both logged in and non logged in users? We touched on replication, but we could dig deeper into failover strategies, backup mechanisms, and monitoring. 2. Security. How would you handle data security, especially for private content and user authentication? We've talked about login mechanisms, but we could expand on encryption, securing data in transit, and potential vulnerabilities. 3. Performance optimizations. Beyond caching, what other performance optimizations would you consider, especially when scaling? We could discuss load testing strategies, optimizing storage, or improving read-write patterns. 4. Monetization strategy. If you plan to scale and monetize the product, what strategies would you consider? We could talk about pricing models, premium features, or user engagement tactics. Product strategy and roadmap. We've focused on architecture so far. How would you prioritize features over time? What's the roadmap to grow your user base, handle scaling, and introduce new features? Would any of these topics interest you for further discussion?
Okay, I think first we can focus on user first because maybe we want to make people it's able to log in and able and even payment for the service. So maybe that the payment server, the people who pay, they can get more storage and faster access speed, and maybe also they will have for example as long as they are in premium mode, their storage will the time will not limited. For example, he pay for 4 years. During these 4 years his storage is always there, but people only login they will have only just have the 1 year storage, and not login will have 6 months. And also for the people who have the payment, maybe they can set who their private note can sharing. How about that? If people only log in, they can just set their node. It's able to be public or private. If login user set public, it can be seen by anyone. But if a user is set a node by private, he can only access by himself. But a user is paid for this system. His private node can share into a specific account. How about these features?
These feature ideas align well with your goals of promoting user engagement and offering more value to premium users. Here's how I see each feature. 1. Premium storage and unlimited retention. Offering longer storage for paid users is a great incentive. The idea that premium users don't have a time limit for storage makes the service much more attractive, especially for those who rely on the platform long term. This also creates a clear distinction between free and paid tiers, driving more users to convert to paid. 2. Faster access speed for paid users. Prioritizing paid users by offering faster access to their content is a valuable feature, especially for power users. This could be implemented with a higher quality cache layer or faster backend storage. It's a great way to add perceived value and could be a key selling point for premium users. 3. Sharing of private content. Allowing paid users to share private content with specific accounts offers more flexibility and functionality. This could be particularly appealing for users who want to collaborate or share sensitive content within a trusted circle. For non-premium users, the ability to make content public or private provides basic functionality, but this added layer of control for premium users makes the service feel more feature-rich. Here's how I would approach these ideas from a technical perspective. For storage and speed, you can track whether a user is premium or not in your database. Based on their status, you can allocate storage, adjust cache policies, or provide access to faster storage solutions like SSDs or low latency servers. For content sharing, you can extend your database schema for premium users to allow for sharing private content with specific accounts. This could involve adding an additional table for shared permissions or directly linking users with specific content that they are allowed to access. You'll also need a mechanism to validate the access request from the specified accounts. User differentiation. Handling these differentiations between free and premium users through roles or flags in your database, e.g. premium flag, would make managing these features easier. This approach would create a good balance of accessibility for free users while incentivizing logins and paid upgrades with meaningful benefits. What are your thoughts on rolling out these features in phases, or would you prefer to implement everything at once?
I think because the system design interview is a time limited, so we can just discussion in case. And because you are the interviewer, I am the one who answer you. You will not explain so detail. How about we discussion other features? For example, maybe I think there is some possible feature it's able to convert our node into other platform. For example, we can convert our node to GitHub solutions or convert to Google documentation, so user can transition the node directly to their the daily account, for example, Apple account. Do you think this is a good concept?
Yes, I think it's an interesting concept. Enabling users to export or convert their notes to other platforms like GitHub or Google Docs could add value, especially for users who want to integrate your product into their existing workflows. However, there could be challenges around API integrations and ensuring smooth transitions between different platforms. How would you handle the integration with these platforms technically? And what would be your priority in terms of the most valuable platforms to support?
Okay, I think that because we are doing mobile first, so we are trying to understand our major group. One is Android side, another is Apple side, and in our experience, that because Apple user usually will more willing to pay the premium of the services, so I think we can make the Apple user higher priority first? How do you think this priority?
Focusing on Apple users first makes sense, especially if they have historically been more willing to pay for premium services. It's a strategic approach because Apple users tend to value seamless, high quality experiences, and they might be more inclined to pay for premium features. Additionally, Apple's ecosystem is well suited for a polished mobile first product. That said, you should still consider how to eventually scale the product to Android users, as they represent a significant portion of the market. How do you plan to prioritize development for iOS while preparing for Android expansion in the future?
So, I think you agree that, yeah, you already agree me that we can develop in the Apple first and enjoy later. And I think, for the because you say that, for the Apple, their environment, their different devices, all are highly blend together. They like the uh, one device for all, so we can just link it to their Apple account. And for the Android side, I think that most people using will be the Google series that also can cross-platform. For example, people using Android Google documentation, they can put on when they are using Windows or Linux, they can also download the content from the Google Drive. So I think we can do the Apple first and then the Google second.
Yes, I agree with your approach. Prioritizing Apple first, given their users' higher willingness to pay for premium services, is a smart strategy. Leveraging the Apple ecosystem with features like integration with Apple accounts will likely resonate well with users. For Android, targeting Google services as the next step is a logical progression. Since Google's ecosystem is more cross-platform, with Google Docs, Google Drive, etc., you can create a seamless experience for users across devices and operating systems, which is important for attracting a broader audience. How do you plan to ensure the transition between platforms from Apple to Android will be smooth for users, particularly when
Okay, I think that majorly is done. So we will do quickly to examine our process. It's about that maybe my speaking it's a little fewer or that I need to speak more to let AI to speak fewer. So I will adjust the prompt in the next time because today it's AI they are talking too much. I don't want him talk too much and mostly he want to ask me for more details and he will discuss he will talking fewer. So I want he wants to me talking more. I will do this change for the prompt. Okay, thank you for watching.